Canelo Alvarez versus Terence "Bud" Crawford. Knuckleheads, is this fight finally happening in 2025? Well, I'm here to report to you guys that we still are agnostic on this one. We've got a goose egg. I have zero confirmation that this fight is happening, but what it does sound like is that Canelo Alvarez, who you guys know likes to fight in May and September, is looking at potential suitors for those dates, and Terence Crawford is definitely being considered. And I think the fact now that Canelo Alvarez has opened up to the idea of working with His Excellency Turki El Sheikh, there's a real possibility that this fight can be made because El Sheikh has already worked with Terence Crawford. And so I think this is definitely a fight that could happen courtesy of Riyadh season. Sounds like it would most likely be in Las Vegas. That's where Canelo likes to do business. But wherever it is, it sounds like it's a possibility. Now, if you ask me about this fight, I've, for a very long time, kind of been iffy about this fight, especially when it was first announced. I thought to myself, man, we're really kind of pushing Terence Crawford a bit too far, right? We're asking a lot from this guy who was 135 pounds or something like that when he started in the pro ranks, moved all the way up 140, 147 to 154, where he had a pretty close fight with Israel Madrimov that I thought he won in the final rounds, but it was a pretty good and close fight. And now we're asking him to move up another 2 weight classes at the age of 37 against a guy in Canelo who has more pro experience than him, but is younger than him, knuckleheads. Now, I think what makes this fight interesting, right? And again, I said at first I was iffy on it, but it's kind of grown on me as I've allowed it to marinate in the old noodle up here. What makes this fight interesting is the fact that Terence Crawford is actually a touch taller than Canelo Alvarez. 5'8" versus 5'7" and a quarter or whatever it is. And then he's got, I believe, a 3.5-inch reach advantage over Canelo Alvarez. I think Terence Crawford's something like 74 inches versus Canelo Alvarez being 70 and a half. Now, of course, Canelo Alvarez is going to be more accustomed, acclimated to this weight class, right? So they're going to say he's the bigger man, but height-wise, he's not, right? Just thickness-wise, he is, and he's accustomed to this weight class. He's been fighting at 168 for a while, and he's built himself up to it, and he's used to it. And I think that's what gives him the advantage physically. But, I mean, if we're looking at it purely from height and reach, Terence Crawford's definitely going to have the advantage there. I think also, boxing-wise, in my opinion, I think boxing-wise, Terence Crawford does have an advantage as well. I think he's going to have the advantage in speed and reflexes. The thing is he going to be able to stand up to Canelo's power at 168 pounds? That's the big question there, and Canelo can box as well, and he can clip him out of there. I joke, I call it the clip clause. It's always a situation where there's a clip clause, and what I mean by that is, maybe one guy is technically superior, but anybody can get clipped in the sport of boxing. And so, as I've thought about this fight, it's grown on me. I think it's a great fight, especially for Terence Crawford, who, again, is 37 years old, probably looking to ride his way out on a big wave into the sunset, and I don't think there would be too many fights better for him than Canelo Alvarez in doing that. That being said, it's a dangerous fight for both guys, and I think the loser, really gets his legacy a bit tarnished here in this fight, especially if it's Canelo Alvarez, because you've got a guy jumping 2 weight classes. I mean, imagine Terence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez, how that's going to look on Canelo's record and his legacy. And he won't really be able to say, I'm old, I'm past it, even though he may be, because, Crawford is older than him. So, I mean, this is a tough one if you're Canelo. This one is high risk, so he's going to need high reward. And I don't think, as some people have said, that, it would be good at a catch weight. I mean, it would be, but I don't think Canelo would agree to a catch weight. He's the A side. He's going to want it at 168 pounds. And if it doesn't happen at 168 pounds, I just don't see this fight happening at all. Knuckleheads, Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Number one, do you think this fight even happens? Number two, who do you think that wins this fight and why? Those are the two questions I'm asking of you guys. Drop it in the comment section. After you do so, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join the channel. It's just $9.99 a month and greatly appreciated. And you can also buy your merchandise in the links below to help me continue to build this and drop daily content for you guys and get out of the rat race. Be sure to also check out my interview with Roma Kalantarian. We did that yesterday. He's the guy that coached Bakram Murtazaliev into beating Tim Tszyu by TKO. Excuse me. And he's also going to be in Arman Sarukian's corner for the Islam Makhachev fight in the UFC. I'll continue to bring you guys quality content. I just ask that you guys support me, get me out the rat race. It's much appreciated. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say below. And Happy New Year to all of you in Knucklehead Nation. Let's make it a great one. Let's do something special on this channel and together.